People who have been cheated on, what were the red flags you ignored at first? She surprisingly stopped getting mad every time I did something stupid. Women also do this when they've mentally emotionally checked out of the relationship. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. My old football coach once said something along the lines of, "Don't be worried when I'm yelling at you, be worried if I stop." And I feel like it's applicable to pretty much every personal and professional relationship you'll ever have. Sending me on trips or random outings. Paid for my weekend trip so that him and his side chick could spend uninterrupted time together. Would surprise me with spa days or to pay for my nails so that he could have sex with her in our bed. She lived with her parents, and yes, she knew about me. The thought that she would be in our room while I'm talking to him on the phone with him still haunts me. I will never get over that. The one I looked back on from a long time ago that I was surprised I didn't catch is that my cat, who was very wary of other people, would casually lay down on the couch next to my neighbor when he would visit. Your cat was cheating on you? He definitely didn't have my back. A little bap 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 and a side I might have helped out. Suspiciously, out of nowhere, started sending me nudes or lewd pics at job, or malls, bathrooms, etc. Guess I was not the only one receiving those. To be fair, I guess it was pretty smart, lol. That is smart actually, damn. You can reuse spicy text too if you're careful with it. Right. If I ever were to check her phone, I'd find pictures she sent me. It just was until one day she called me needing something off her computer and forgot to log off many accounts that I was not supposed to see. And there was the whole dressing up at 4 a.m. for conference calls. And at midnight and at lunch. Got really distant. I thought he was just going through a depressive episode. We both struggled with it. Talked about a coworker in passing. Not even an insane amount. But he never cared about his coworkers before. She went on a trip to her home country, and he brought home a lot of snacks that she had brought back. I said, "Gee, this is a lot," and he said, "Yeah, no one else wanted it, so I took it all." Started having trouble keeping it up. I attributed it to depressive episode. In retrospect, this was it. He kept it hidden amazingly well. No stereotypical cheater things like weird phone calls, disappearing, being weird with the phone, etc. But I guess it's pretty easy to fool someone when they think you're the complete opposite of a person that would ever cheat. That's the problem with small tells. They're up for interpretation. And once you pick a way to interpret them, you start defending or burying the person with your own mental effort, drawing the lines that seem right along with the lines that are right. And at some point you're looking at a picture you want to see. Works that way with scammers and frauds too. But then again, is it wrong to believe that a person you love would never cheat on you? She was suddenly angry anytime I even had like a hint of questioning her about something. This can go both ways, to be honest. I've been with partners that had trust issues from the past, and getting accused every 5 minutes or not believing me when I say where I was gets exhausting real fast. My gut feeling. Been cheated on twice. Both times lizard brain alarm bells went off the second they were mentioned. I'm not a jealous person. Never had an issue with opposite sex friends. Still don't. But both times I just knew something was up. The first time I looked for evidence. The second time I didn't bother. I already knew because I'd been through it before. Once that trust is gone, for any reason, it's over. No point in prolonging it. Just move on. There's no shortage of quality partners out here. I knew the first time my ex mentioned her name that she'd be the one. I was right. He told me one night during a fight. I was sleeping with her way before I even told you, to which I said, "You're fucking stupid if you think I didn't know it the first time you ever said her name to me." I always thought that gut feeling was so bizarre. What's wild is with one, they'd been friends forever. He'd mentioned her dozens of times and I'd had zero problems with their friendship at all. They'd been on group outings where they'd spent nights in the woods together. It was just this one time was different. He mentioned an upcoming trip the group had planned, including a list of who was going to be there, and my stomach dropped when he said her name. I couldn't figure out why, because I knew she was in a very long-term relationship with someone. I found out later they'd taken a break right before that trip. The sex literally just stopped overnight, after a night out with her girlfriends. She got cold, distant, angry at even the slightest questioning over what was going on. I just assumed things were rough at work, so I ignored it for 2.5 years. More like I let her gaslight me if we're being honest. After 3 years I called it off. Turns out she fucked somebody on the night out with her girlfriends 3 years prior when it all dropped off. And for at least the final 7 months of the relationship she was having an affair. Although I now suspect it was significantly longer. 2.5 years? I thought you were gonna say 2.5 weeks. Sorry to hear that, bro. Nobody deserves to be neglected like that. Especially not for so long. She was always worried and made up these outlandish conspiracies that I was cheating on her. And in the end, she had been cheating on me for years. Seems obvious now looking back. That cheater's projection goes hard. Going out alone more often. Not wanting sex as often. Changing sheets on the bed more frequently. Taking more care of themselves, exercising, different hairstyle. New female friend that's not married or wanting to have girls' nights. Changing the bedding frequently is really such a very subtle hint, but when you realize it, it doesn't seem like something silly. How seemingly small things I did annoyed her, suddenly. Like she was building a case to justify hurting me. Immediately after the cheating, however, she was super nice to me. Took me out for food and drinks. Love bombed me. Even then I felt like something was off. Stopped taking care of her part of the chores. Mine seemed elsewhere. Super touchy about her phone. It all made sense in hindsight, of course. She had cheated on basically all of her partners and spoke about it like she was proud of it. I didn't actually ignore this at first, and told her right off the bat there's no way we'd be anything serious specifically because of that. Over time she managed to reel me in and gain my confidence. What I find super interesting is that the moment she cheated was just about immediately after she knew that she had. Huh? Can you explain that last sentence, please? Immediately after she knew that she had reeled me in and gained my confidence. Talking briefly about his past girlfriends, I brought up one and was like, whatever happened to her? And almost too fast he said, I don't know. We just lost contact. It turns out he was talking to her that whole time and seeing her when he went out of town. It's really hard to draw a heart in Sharpie on the back of your own thigh. And really easy to forget it's there. Dude might as well have written me a warning note. She's like a sister to me. Maybe it's because I never had one, but I don't think you're supposed to fuck your sister. She told me in anger once. You don't know how many men I'm ignoring for you. His hygiene improved, and he started acting so different even his family assumed he was struggling with his sexual identity. Turns out he was just cheating with his friend's fiancée, and I guess she was just into that. She looked mortified when I surprised her and brought her brownies during her lunch break, then was strange about the usual amount of PDA. Introduced me by my first name, and was careful not to call me her boyfriend. Dang, the other guy was getting played too. What's crazy is that when I called her over to break up in person, she brought the guy for support. He was like, wait, you're her boyfriend. I am out of here. He was on his lunch too. He was understanding that I didn't welcome him into my home. We were pretty civil about it. I ran into her years later and asked whatever happened with him. He stopped talking to her after that, and I couldn't help but smile inside. Well, she used to always check my mobile, and whenever I asked, she would ask, why am I afraid? She joined this new company and she changed her wardrobe. She started buying fancy bras and panties, started waxing up her thighs. We from conservative country, and then used those pink trimmers a lot. She went on a wedding of her friend and didn't tell me that she and her colleagues also planned a trip to a resort post that. She got pissed when I asked why. All this happened over a year, but I never thought of it. Everything came into place. And when I checked her mobile, I found evidence. She got distant and busy. She had off days where she didn't want to be around anyone. She wouldn't text as much, and the energy was off. Seemed preoccupied. She was also going to Disney for that college program, and she made me promise not to buy plane tickets to visit her. She sent me a nude pic from her tanning, but it was forwarded. Also, she did the same thing to me 3 times. The risks I took were calculated, but goddamn am I bad at math. The attention from me that used to elicit excitement and reciprocation started instead to elicit irritation and annoyance. She would get angry if I called her to chat, would avoid spending time with me, and would sporadically lash out at for what seemed like trivial issues. I was young and immature, so at the time I thought maybe I was doing something wrong. but really my partner was just already moving on and felt trapped in our relationship. Here's the thing though, red flags like these are only warning signs in hindsight, and could just as easily be indications of any number of other things. My partner had mixed feelings about our relationship, and both did and did not want to be with me. And she had some other unresolved issues about commitment in general. How she treated me wasn't okay, and I'm glad we separated, but I think it's worth noting that cheating was just a symptom of other issues. Whether or not she ended up cheating, we still should have broken up. I think people get too caught up in the betrayal of affairs. Not that they aren't that a huge betrayal, but rather I think people should do more regular and routine examinations of their relationships to make sure they are still working out, and should tackle issues like contempt and unkindness right away rather than let those things fester. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.